I'm the best.
Yeah.
I am him.
Ready to rock and roll, baby?
To a sneeze.
Welcome to Mountain Goat Gaming. Alex is still sneezing, and you are in for a treat today. Guys, we're here to talk about some faction deep dives. My light is going on and off. The cyclone is inbound, so, touch wood that this video actually makes it. Anyway, we're here to talk about what other people have classed as shit tier armies. And where this is like a mini series where we're hoping to go through like 2 to 3 max legions and really deep dive their strategies, profiles, and kind of have like a touch point for people to go to if they are looking to start this army. So today we're going to focus on Carn Dûm and Burdhrs Horde. We think they're sick. They definitely have potential, full potential across all points levels. Arsenal
Nah.
either, so you can't have it all.
Dad joke. He's getting better at them.
100%.
He's evolving.
I know. So, like, share, subscribe, bell button, etc. Please go on and support our buddies over at the Bard's Table and Oz Wargaming. Use capital letters GOATS to get a discount of 5% and 10% respectively. Bard's Table will give you free shit. It'll either be a troll, it'll be Santa Helm. There's heaps of stuff that honestly, they're just like, how can we give people free stuff by using code GOATS? And I'm like, just be you, dude. And they are. Oz Wargaming, I think his sale has now finished. It is just a 10% discount code.
Go into the description, join the Discord, check it out. We're usually there hanging out. Not Jay, because he's so busy, but Tyler and I, for sure. So get in there, say hello. Nice.
100%. On a final note, too, we are 3 people away from 2,000 subs at this point. When the video comes out, I'm assuming we're at 2,000. Otherwise, that'd be a bit awkward. Thank you to everyone there. And I'm hoping to finish up my Smaug that we got printed from Bards and actually do a bit of a giveaway as a thank you to everyone. So keep an eye out for that shit.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's get into the juicy stuff. Alex, talk me through raw dog bonuses and raw dog profiles. Let's start with Army of Carn Dûm and then work our way to Burdhrs Horde.
Easy. So let's go through I think the profiles is probably the place to start because
I
the
agree.
bonuses kind of work off the profiles.
Yep.
So leading the army, Aldrak, 120 points. So you're needing him. He's also your leader, so you need him to do some good, strong stuff.
Yep.
Fight 6.
Yeah,
Already fantastic.
Yep.
What a great starting point, especially because every point of fight value now is just so important. Strikes being D3. Fight 6 is amazing. Strength 5, cutting through those D7 heroes, cutting through D5 infantry lines. D6 is enough.
Yep.
Doesn't get torn down by D3, strength 3 infantry. Love it. 3 attacks, 3 wounds, 3-3-1.
Yep.
What can you do? Has a shield. Can't complain.
Yep.
Challenge strength strike.
Yep.
Sure. Mighty blow. Beautiful. Stunning in a world of many monsters.
Yes.
Yum, yum, yum.
Yep.
Friendly Carn Dûm models within 6 inches of Aldrak must reroll failed courage tests, which, for the most part, is very good.
Yep.
Sometimes when you want to quarter yourself, maybe not.
Just
But yes, the Warlord of Carn Dûm, that's a passive. And then he's active. If he slays an enemy model he was engaged with in combat, then the following turn he may declare a free heroic combat.
This is huge. You can gain some real momentum with Aldrak. And the games that I've played with just the army of Carn Dûm, I've found that he is best served raw, hard, and straight in the middle. All of the above, man. It's nice because Aldrak can comfortably go into two, D6, there is sometimes a challenge of what if, can he get the fives for both? But definitely anything strength five, etc. He's just mowing him down. I think the versatility of Aldrak to go ahead and just Donkey Kong a troll of some variety with no fate is huge. And I think Carn Dûm really needs that. So yeah, it's
Yep,
nice.
100%. So seen the hitting power, and I think for 120 points,
Mad.
it's fine. Like the free hero combat is what you need.
Yep.
The only issue is starting the engine.
Yep.
Because if he ends up out of combat or if he's facing another evil army, they keep shooting at who he's trying to fight, and he's just stuck knocking that free hero combat for even just a turn or two at the start of the game,
Yep.
it does slow down your army, getting the ball rolling. But once he's there, you love it.
Yeah.
You love it. Move on to Freight, Vassal of the Witch King, 65 points, which is solid.
Sure.
Very much like a kind of like a he's Malbeth light. He's Malbeth from Wish. Let's be honest.
Yep.
Fight 4, strength 4, D5, 1 attack, 2 wounds, 1/4/1. Has a hand and a half weapon, I guess, and heroic resolve, which late game maybe, but you reroll courage anyway, so But his main thing is his incantations of power during the priority phase after it's been rolled can spend a will point to either give friendly Carn Dûm within 6 inches reroll ones, give them a if they suffer a wound within 6 inches, ignore it on a 5+, or those within 6 inches will not be slowed by difficult terrain except water.
It's also note to reroll ones to wound.
Yes.
Yes.
Natural ones for making strikes. Look, the reroll ones, yeah. The incantation of swiftness, very, very selectively in very rare situations. It's not like you can do this to your wild riders or anything.
Yeah.
A 5+ save though. For 4 turns. But it is 4 turns of 5+ save within 6 inches.
Yeah. I am so torn with this guy. I love the model. I think the model itself is great. I like his aesthetic, but I just fucking hell. We're going to talk about him, I think, a bit more, and I don't want to dive too much into the strategy list building aspect of it yet, because him as a profile by itself, I think is good. And if you are choosing to run a pure Carn Dûm warrior army, he is a must, and he will amplify your force, irrespective, right? There's no reason not to take him.
We'll get there, don't you worry.
We'll
I'm going to skip ahead of the captain because I'm going to say the warrior because the captain is just slightly better. So the warrior, fight 3. This is a 9-point profile. Fight 3, strength 4, D5, courage 7, intelligence 7. Can take a banner or spear and gets +1 to wound heroes. You are paying so much for that rule. So much. If we're looking at a realistically with a shield, it's or a scout is 9 points with shield. You're getting a fight value higher with no rule, but you kind of want to win the fights in the first place.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's kind of the whole deal.
Even if they kept him at fight 3, like if we could have points like 1 or 2 points production, sure, spam them out. Like, give me an incentive to buy these warriors because, as you see on the screen, they are sick.
They are. They're
too expensive.
They don't feel like a hill tribe. They don't feel like a tribe. They feel like some sort of like they're trying to be like a noble king, like they're a high kingdom or something, but they don't look like it at all.
Yep, they're a hill tryhard.
Yeah. The captain is the only difference is upper fight value, upper defense, upper attacking wounds, and the courage and intelligence is slightly better. 2/1/1 also has the +1 to wound heroes. Sure. Has the shield. Okay.
Yep.
Otherwise, in the list, correct me if I'm wrong, orc captains, orcs, wild riders, hill trolls. Hill trolls, fight 6. 3 attacks, 3 wounds. They get the reroll in the dual roll if they're only facing infantry. That's the hill troll intelligence, which I'm sure we'll get onto later as well for both our armies.
Mhm.
They're pretty solid. They're pretty damn good.
Yep. Yeah, causing terror, dominant 3,
Yeah.
50 mil base, all the goods, right?
They add a very different dimension to the army for sure.
I think they saved this army, if I'm being brutally honest.
Because let's get into these special rules. So
Yeah.
you must take Eldrak.
Yep.
He must be the leader.
Correct.
If a Carn Dûm hero, so that's only Eldrak, Fraked, the captain, if they slay at least one enemy in combat, for the following turn they get +1 fight value. Pause. Captains get to fight 5. Meh. Fraked, not really there to be in combat. Fight 7 Aldrak though. That is something. That is something for sure. Banners become 6-inch range. That's fairly solid. Your 2 banners covers your entire battle line and higher points. If you're taking 2 banners, it doesn't have to be Carn Dûm banners. Friendly banners. Yep. Love that.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the one that kind of turns all on its head. Fierce Charge. Friendly warrior models gain a bonus of +1 to their fight value in a turn in which they charge. Okay. We've said that the Carn Dûm are expensive at 9 points.
You know,
on turn they charge, they become slightly less expensive. You also have Orcs becoming fight 4 at 6 points.
Yep.
You also have
Hill Trolls.
Hill Trolls getting to fight 7 as well. With, let us not forget, 3 attacks base, rerolling if they're only facing infantry, rerolling again if they have a banner, 5 dice at fight 7.
Money.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Money.
So, Jay, you are a resident expert. I kind of walked us through the rules, but thoughts, feelings, desires?
I like them, and I'm really happy that the Hill Trolls were added into this army. I honestly kind of just threw myself into Carn Dûm with the Bard's sponsor army. Go check out that video. Where I like the aesthetic of it, and they weren't really talked about a lot because they're really bloody expensive from Forge World. And the fact that we've now got like an army bundle with Bards to make it an affordable, take, I like. And I do think there is a place at low, I would say between 500 points. If you wanted to take Warriors of Carn Dûm, you can potentially win more games than you lose at a tournament with Warriors of Carn Dûm. You're still strength 4. You have the potential to get to fight 4, but you still have fight 7 Hill Trolls running around.
Yep.
Not shit, right? Yeah, profiles and bonuses, that Fierce Charge and the Hill Trolls saved the Carn Dûm for me. On top of Aldrak going to like the Frenzy charging, free hero combats and fight 7 potentially, it's wicked. But you have only got 3 might to keep momentum. If he loses momentum, it gets really hard. So we'll talk about it in the strategy section. Let's jump into Burdhrs Horde. Let's jump into the profiles of them, and then we'll jump into the juicy stuff.
100%. I was just going to cut in because I was going to pop in with some information. If it'll come up, it won't. But I ran a 450 point event recently. There were 2 army Carn Dûm.
Yep.
Both middling success.
Yep.
And that was, one was, I believe, Aldrak, Fraked, and a captain. The other one was Aldrak and a captain with a Hill Troll. And they were generally the full Hill Troll, like mostly Carn Dûm stuff, a little bit of Orcs. That was just kind of the way it was being done.
Mm-hmm.
But Burdhrs Horde.
Yeah.
Buhrdur, new model, which at first I will say, love it. It's so nice. Love it. Cannot complain whatsoever. This profile as well is just so much better than what we had before. So we've bumped up basically across everything. Fight 7, strength 7, defense 7. It's also worth noting because it sometimes comes up 4+ to hit.
Oh, throw stones. Premium.
Can't complain. 3 attacks, 3 wounds, courage 6+, intelligence 5+.
Yeah, that's huge.
Massive. 3 attacks, 3 might, 3 will, 1 fate.
Yep.
Just the hand weapon, so no hand and a half, no pick, because no piercing, no nothing. Cool. Challenge, strength, strike. All good. Dominant 4. Can't complain. General Hunter. That's kind of where you want him. Regaining the might, love it. Terror, throw stones, love it. Lead by example, active rule. If burdhrs slays an enemy, hero, or monster in combat for the rest of the game, other friendly orcs or trolls treat him as a banner. If he kills 3 or more heroes or monsters, then for the rest of the game, orcs or trolls within 6 inches count as being in range of a banner. Look, I've never killed 3 heroes or monsters in a game with burdhrs.
No.
But I've definitely killed 1.
Yep.
And a little 3-inch banner. Won't complain.
Nice little bonus, yeah.
And you know who's a friendly troll within 3 inches of burdhrs? Burdhrs. he loves killing a hero and being like, I'm the best. I am him. He also has the brutish cunning, so rerolling the d6 when he's fighting only against non-monster infantry. 4 attacks wherever you go for the most part.
Yep.
Love it. Can't complain.
Agree.
There is nothing else really unique in this list. It's him. It's all captains. There are Wildwag chiefs who are just little gems. They're just little gems.
Yep.
Fight 5 is fine. 10-inch move, cool. Strength 6. Strength 6 just...
They didn't have any business being strength fucking 6, man.
Yep. Strength 6, D5, meh. 3 attacks, 3 wounds, 2 might, 2 will, 1 fate. Heroic march, heroic strength.
Yes.
Just when you want, just in case.
Yeah.
There is just one. Generally, it's negative. Massive negative on these guys. They have the active rule Pack Lord. Friendly models may not benefit from the heroic actions or standfasts of this model unless they have the WAG keyword. And newsflash, WAG riders also do not have the WAG keyword. So we are talking about exclusively other WAG chieftains and wild WAGs.
Mm-hmm.
God, that makes for some really tough situations.
It does. But I also like if we exclusively focus on like monster, the fact that they are strength 6 means that you can reliably put them in and have them not be hurled.
Yep. Not only not be held, not be knocked down by Cav.
Yeah, like they in my mind play like your anti-flankers in those neat scenarios where it's like, no, fuck you, you're not going past. And if you fail this, I probably will eat you alive.
Yep. Any matchups where like Eagles, if they don't get +1 strength on the charge in their list, they won't knock them down. Fell Beasts cannot knock them down.
Yep.
That is massive. The only other profile that we haven't talked about, other than like, standard Orc Captain, D6, he gets a shield automatically for 45 points. Aemar Orc Shaman, I guess.
Wither is cute.
Wither is cute.
Rewill 4+. Right. You gotta be packing like 4 shamans to actually play a Wither play.
Which I've seen the list for it, and it's just a bit yuck anyway.
Yeah.
But Drain Courage is now a 4+. Instill Fear just isn't what it was.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, unless you want to run some wacky Wither strats, I wouldn't bother.
I agree.
Burdhrs Horde, though, itself. So, must have Buhrdur, he must be the leader. So, again, just to remind everyone of the options, all captains, Wild Wag Chiefs, Shaman, Warriors, Wag Riders, Wild Wags, Hill Trolls. We have 3 rules. Every model gets Woodland Creature and Mountain Dweller.
Mm-hmm.
Can't complain. Fearsome Foe. If Buhrdur kills an enemy hero in combat, he gains the Fearless special rule for the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Cannot complain. You're an evil army. Love it. And here's the one that turns it all on its head. Ambush. At the start of the game, before either side is deployed, you may choose to have Burdhrs warband ambushing and not arrive as normal. Instead, at the end of the move phase on the 3rd turn, after both sides have moved all their models, the ambushing model must choose one of the following. Either move onto the board from any board edge via the rules for reinforcements, or deploy in or within 1 inch of a wood, building, rocky outcrop, or other similar piece of terrain that the model could hide in. And then we go on to mention that there's a degree of common sense. You can't pop out of a river or out of a single rock. You can't go into base contact or in the control zones of enemy models. And you don't get to activate. You count as moving half when you appear. Wow.
Huge. It solves such a nice problem for them having to slug across the board ever
Hmm.
with the oppression that shooting armies are putting down currently with the scenarios. Like, there's no incentive to move in like four of them.
Yep.
Fuck you. I'll just show up in some little shitty outcrop over here and smash your face in next turn.
Yep.
Great.
It gets around all that. There's just a psychological element of like, there's only a little bit on the board. It's all good. And then just Burdhrs full warband appears up your ass crack and you weren't ready for him. And
Yeah.
he's just insane. I get too excited, but I don't want to go into the strategies before we get into it. So those are we've got our army bonuses, we've got our profiles. We're kind of letting it it's simmering. It's simmering.
Yeah.
Um, shall
Let's
we
do,
get into the strategies?
let's do some strats. Let's do the good shit. This is
Okay.
so
Carn Dûm.
Carn Dûm. Typically, the way that I like to play Carn Dûm competitively is with no warriors.
When you
No,
say that, let's clarify what type of warriors you mean by that.
no warriors of Carn Dûm. I play Orc Dûm. Yeah.
Octum.
Now, the the typical way that I like to do it is just to spam out as many like orcs as I possibly can, have my 9 bows, and then move forward from there, right? This is probably a really good time to throw Tyler in the conversation, right? Where if
Oh,
if Tyler was to jump in right now, yeah, and I was to play against him versus his last alliance, what I'm going to be looking at is yes, they outfight me, except for the fact that I will be trying to maximize 3 fight 7 heroes, being Aldrak and 2 hill trolls. These hill trolls and Aldrak are going to be like threat overloading as much as I possibly can. And then if I wanted to keep Aldrak's momentum, I'm going to pair him with a hill troll so that way I will be winning the fight because I've got, let's be real, 9 fucking dice. Yeah. And
Yep.
I have also lost a fight with that, but I'm munching troops consistently. You've got barge plays, you've got combat plays, you've got so much potential, not barge and combat plays in the same term, but you've got more chances to get that 6 and really smash face whilst you're munching their troops down. Reliably, I can probably guarantee at least 6 kills across my hill trolls and Aldrak alone. And to be honest, if the orcs just hold the line, so be it. I don't give a shit what they do. They're there to take up space and prevent, a couple of things here and there.
Yep. It's worth mentioning the changes to barge. Everyone's kind of fixated on just the extra movement. So the D3 plus 3 inches means that you get consistent movement where you need to go.
Yep.
The changes to the way you force your opponent to back away is absolutely insane. I'm going to shout out Jacob from Conquest Creations. We played a game tonight. I felt disgusting.
No, you
It
didn't.
was, I didn't. It was Wolf, Frecker, and the spear support. And get in the comments if you think I did this wrong, but we checked the rules, and this is how it is word for word. I went, Frecker's going to go first, hits the spear support behind him, goes prone. Spear support I made go next. He backed out 3 inches. Wolf was on his big ass horse. Well, la couldn't go back a full 3 inches. Got knocked prone. Took a wound from getting knocked off his horse. And then I went, Frecker, you're on the ground. Boink. You can do some wacky stuff. And you know what else helps? The hill troll goes, cool, you're going to go back towards my orc line. You have 30, 40 plus models.
Yep.
They'll get on. They'll get an elf. He can't last forever. It's just you got so much hitting power. The 6-inch banner is also just really, really nice.
It is. It is. And I think it's really hard because I want to obviously highlight Carn Dûm, but I always fall back to monsters have such a great upgrade. And I'm going to put it out there, I think hill trolls are the best monster profile as a warrior. They have no might, like everything else with no might, etc. I think these guys, like I compare this to Gundabad Ogres. I love Gundabad Ogres, and I think they've got some really great rules, and they're 15 points cheaper. Motherfucker, I would pay 15 points every day of the week to get myself a hill troll. All day, every day. No worries. What other warrior is getting 5 dice at fight 7? Even fight 6. I don't give a shit. That's so nice.
In the end, dice are king. Like my mind goes to at first I was like Eagles. I'm like, nah, in a vacuum they need their list. Then I thought Ent. That Ent's pretty crazy. But again, you need to win the fight.
You do.
And 3 dice versus 5 dice is a big difference.
It's the 5 dice, man. That is the biggest. It's not even a strategy. It's just like a raw output of dice. If I can throw more dice, I'm increasing my chances of winning fights and not and stopping my opponent from doing shit. These hill trolls provide that. My biggest tip for you, if you are writing a Carn Dûm list, is always take a minimum of 2 and look for 3.
And you may be look, every time we're talking about this, we're saying the hill trolls are rolling 5 dice. Aldrak is always rolling at least 4 dice, and you may be saying, but implies you always have a banner. That's yes. If you are playing a game and somehow these hill trolls aren't within range of your banner, you've done something wrong. You've done something genuinely wrong. You are a combat list. They need to be there. They need to be ready to help.
Yeah.
Tyler, welcome to the chat. How you doing?
Bye. Hello.
Tyler, what are your thoughts on like taking Carn Dûm warriors? Can you make an argument for them, like competitively only, instead of orcs? Because my mind is I just spam orcs.
Look, I've had the privilege of playing against pure Carn Dûm and as well as the mixed variant. Freight, mother of God. I thought I hate that guy. That guy can allow your Carn Dûm to actually stall and actually get their points out of them, in my opinion. 4 turns of five plus, feel no pain. It just feels like Arnor, for a little bit. But then instead of them just shielding or winning fights and not wound the Arnorians and not wounding, the Carn Dûm will actually crunch back. And especially now with the heroes wise, if heroes are going into them and they fluff, it feels bad. And actually confirming heroic combats on them when they have that 5+ thing is crazy. I remember I had the Goblin King against Freight, and Freight lasted 3 freaking turns on his own against my Goblin King because Goblin King won 2 combats, got 3 wounds on the first one. He 5+ saved through all 3. Next one, I lose the fight because I only have the 3 dice plus a banner in Goblin Town. So yeah, I think Freight, there is an argument to do the mix and have Freight as the support piece still using the feel no pain, especially for Aldrak and say a captain that you may take. It's just Chad just to have him just shed some of these wounds that may be coming his way, even in shooting as well. But it is a huge thing. So at least on the approach, if you march with your captain twice, you can actually feel like you can put your Carn Dûm at the front and see if they can shed some of the wounds that they would take from shooting. But I do understand the argument of numbers are king. You want to spam out with orcs. But it really just depends. I like this list because of the fact that you can go about it in multiple variations.
Yeah, you can definitely pick a paradigm. I think you either take, if you're going to go down the Carn Dûm route, you need to take minimum 3/5 of the list have to be all Carn Dûm. You definitely take Frank, obviously, and you probably take a captain as well of Carn Dûm because again, D6 with a 5+ save, with the potential to knock you go back into you with a strength 4+1 to wound against heroes.
And
that's 5/5. Really useful. 5/5 if they got the kill. Yeah,
if he gets the kill. I had a captain literally kill AMR and freaking Gambling.
Okay, that's just some fucking. That sounds like a skill.
And I was like, this is a scam.
This is bullshit. Or you go like I could imagine. You apply them if you weren't going to go down the heavy route. You almost like you would an Osgiliath veteran. You're like, there's 6 of them, and they present some sort of like. Aldrak goes in. You want some more support, but there's no hill troll, so a Carn Dûm guy goes in as well to help secure the kill or something, or they're there to if you need. They are going to guaranteed charge into the thing with terror because you get the reroll still from Aldrak.
Yeah, the rerolling courage is crazy.
Yeah, you can pick the paradigm. I really like that. They're also they can be better on objectives because they got just better courage. Can't complain about that.
Yep.
The reason why this probably isn't considered a great list is very mediocre shooting. We've lost compared to last edition when they came out, no orc trackers. So you've lost the consistency of the shooting and just the ability to get numbers for those 5 point trackers. Um, and realistically, probably an over reliance on Aldrak.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've had to face a lot of heavy like magic. Not that magic is as consistent or as crazy at the moment, but I assume that does create some. It can create issues, or at least you have to play around it to some degree.
100%, which is why I think like to make Carn Dûm work, you have to threat overload. There's no way, like there's no other way around it, and that's why I think Hill Trolls are the actual MVPs of this list in my mind. And I assumed it in my conversation, right? Aldrak, obviously, you're putting and slamming down the throat as hard as you can. Use your magic on him. That's fine. Like you have to slow him down with his combats, otherwise, I'll keep going. But the hill trolls are still going to be getting 5 dice and potentially doing monster things. Yeah, like that's which one are you going to stop and where do you stop? Because if the hill trolls get on a roll, man, they have a potential to kill 6 troops. No worries, no worries. That's bullshit.
Are you? I don't know if you are thinking about it. Are you? And obviously depends on the armies as well. Going for hero hunting, or just chopping down troops
Troops
every day?
Your army, like yes, you've got the nice rules for looking at heroes, which kind of turns your head to do that. Go for the troop.
I think it's just a nice bonus when it comes up. You're like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
that's a thing.
That you get.
That's why I love these suckers. These guys can spear support and just threaten in general.
Nope.
As in like if they heroic combat through.
Oh yes.
And then all of a sudden they're like,
Yes.
oh, I forgot about that Carn Dûm rule. It's like, oh yeah, let's see. Did you fluff? Shit, that sucks. You wasted a point of might. Now you're gonna have to waste another point of might because I will probably be wounding you on 5s or less as a hero, especially as heroes, because that's what happened to my Amir. I went, oh yeah, cool. I can heroic combat through, kill the orcs. Wins the Carn Dûm. They crunched 2 wounds on my Amir, so
Yeah.
which is the way it goes.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get into Burdhrs Horde.
Okay.
Alex, what have you witnessed?
Okay. There's a couple things, and it obviously relies completely around the ambush. Without the ambush, this is a mediocre list with less survivability than Carn Dûm. Buhrdur needs to do too much. You take too many turns taking shots. You're paying a decent 130 points for Buhrdur, which is it's the same as Aldrak, but you don't have the heroic combats. You're on a far bigger base. Everything doesn't look great until you realize that he doesn't have to be there for the first 3 turns.
Yeah.
Look, there are some weaknesses to that. If you get stuck into combat from turn 1 or turn 2 or even turn 3, if you're in combat turn 3, because Buhrdur's arriving that turn, he can't charge. There's literally no way for him to get into combat because it happens after every movement. There's no way for him to get compelled in, nothing. If they're already fighting your army and then he shows up, you're just praying they don't do too much. If something is able to march into your maelstrom and they get into you from turn 2, it doesn't feel good. So it does come down to a lot of list building as well. You have to think about that. But essentially, everything that isn't Buhrdur's Warband has to be either able to last long or move fast. That's where I've gone, I think, Wild Wag Chiefs with some Wags and Wag Riders. Amazing, mobile. They just sit there, kind of getting ready to skirmish, go behind a frame piece. If something comes near them, if they can kill it, sure, go for it. But realistically, they probably just scamper back. They chill. Again, the Wild Chiefs, they sound so awesome. 3 attacks, 3 wounds, strength 6. We talked about them. They're so good. They can't affect anything that isn't a Wag with their might for heroic actions. That includes heroic combats. I learned that very quick. I'm like, Wild Wag Chief and Buhrdur go in heroic combat on the Wild Wag Chief. Buhrdur doesn't get to move. So you need something with might that affects everything. Buhrdur has 3 might. Usually when he shows up, he's not necessarily within 6 inches of another hero, so he has to call the first move. That means you have 2 might for the rest of your army for moves. So you probably want to squeeze an Orc Captain in there. So the ambushing, essentially, you're trying to draw your opponent into somewhere. You're trying to scope out where you're going to put down this Buhrdur, and then shove him into your opponent's face, close the trapdoor behind them, you got to remember as well, you can put these guys anywhere within 1 inch of the terrain piece. They don't have to be within 6 inches of Buhrdur. They don't have the only thing they have to be is within 1 inch of the terrain piece and not in the control zone. You can put them up on the second level of the terrain piece if you want to have some bows that pop up. You can have them up here on two completely different sides. Usually when I'm running it, I have a full warband with a banner. With Buhrdur, I have 3 wild wargs in there as well. If I'm playing recon, I'll put everyone except the wild wargs right in my opponent's face or wherever they need to be, and then the 3 wild wargs are at the back of the terrain piece, and they'll go run off the board, or they'll go get the domination, or they'll go burn a supply and destroy the supplies. Because you can do some wacky things with it. It's all about drawing your opponent in with your kind of shifting skirmish line. You're waiting, trying to get them, and you're trying to think about your terrain piece. You're like, okay, right now, if I go right here, I can put Buhrdur right in this choke point. You can't get past him. There's a wild warg chief and some wilds on the other side. There's no way out. We're going to fight right here next turn.
Yep.
There is the issue that they can sit at the back of the board and just try and wait out those 3 turns. Tyler's in there like, what if I just don't do it? I'll just slowly start creeping up with the rest of my army. And that's unfortunately, that's all you can do. Realistically, you creep up those wargs slowly. Buhrdur probably drops right in front of them, and you get to work. And hopefully they've given enough board space that's enough.
But like that's a common problem for so many armies in this edition at the moment. Like this is not exclusive to Buurdur's Horde. So yes, it's a negative towards them, and yes, shooting's going to hurt them. Motherfucker, shooting hurts everyone.
It does. And the beauty of knowing that, your leader's not going to take any wounds for the first 2 turns at least.
Yeah.
Your banner's completely safe.
Yeah.
And there's that level of, I have 200 plus points minimum of my army. You have no idea where it is.
Yes.
It is a massively psychological thing. I've seen people move off. I destroy the supplies, had someone move completely off an objective to try and block off a forest that they thought I was going to drop onto. So I then just deployed onto the terrain piece that was right next to the thing, dropped the warg on it, and then they didn't engage. And next turn didn't engage me, so I just started moving back towards my supplies and went, cool. I've got a supply now. I didn't take a wound, and I still have my banner.
Yeah, good.
What are we gonna do?
Play the game actually. But anyway,
I'd hope so. Wow, am I out of focus? What's happening here? What's happening here?
You should have gone to Specsavers, Alex.
Should have. God damn. But honestly, the main thing is psychological factor is massive. There's this. Where's this warband? They're not on the board, so they must not be alive. Must not be real.
Yeah.
Until they pop down, and you're like a maelstrom. Like obviously, if your army gets caught turn 1, turn 2 without Buhrdur, sucks because you got to make the decision before deployment, before anything gets rolled. But if you don't have to do anything those first couple turns, and maybe one warband of your opponents gets lost along the way, Tyler, you've seen me play some Battle of Five Armies, and there's an Iron Hills warband all by its lonesome, and all your wargs fling themselves over there, and then Buhrdur appears in front of them, and you're like, oh, let's do this.
Yeah, when you did that to Thea, that was pretty interesting. I was like, oh man, this shore is shutting, and that's it.
And you can get a lot of dudes in this army. You can, even with the Wild Warg Chief swing 80 points, Buurdur's 130, you can get a lot of guys in. You're looking at easily at points that are good for it, 40 plus is where you should be looking at. And that's before you even consider a hill troll. The rules for Buhrdur in terms of killing heroes is nice. If they come up, they come up.
The Carn Dûm thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's all about using just all you're trying to do is where does the ambush go? Where does it occur? Where are we fighting? And if you can master that, trying to lure your opponent into an area and then ambush behind them to kind of really seal the deal, get straight into combat. If those wild chieftains, realistically, they're using their might for 2 things: heroic combating, winning rolls. That's it. There's sometimes I've called moves where it's like this warg is run in front of your hero. If I win the move off, I tag him anyway. And if it makes your opponent spend a might point, you don't mind. Especially if you have priority. If you have priority and you win the move off, you can tag the hero. You don't care. If you don't have priority, you obviously don't want to win it with your warg, because then you tag the hero and then they still go first. So there's ways to use it, but largely, you need that orc captain to help you with the might points. I feel like I've been talking a lot. if you're playing against Burdhrs, Tyler, how are you feeling? What are your thoughts?
So the list itself right now, considering the 6 scenarios that we have, I think is a real optimal time to actually be playing this list. Once we get more scenarios where there is a 50-inch deployment zone, sorry, 50% deployment zone, or like 24-inch deployment, I think this list will start to struggle. But for the time being, we only have the 6, so I will say Burdhrs is an absolute menace in the sense that he is fight 7 and he doesn't care if you strike sometimes, even with your fight 5 or fight 6 heroes, he'll either correspondingly strike or go, cool, you're in an unoptimal place. You know what? The most you can do to me is maybe 2 wounds this turn. Good luck. If you get the wound of my leader, fine, I'll give you that VP, but you've now wasted probably 1, potentially even 2 points of might with your hero to try and just deal with Burdhrs while the rest of his army is actually creating traps, and you trying to use the weight of dice. That's where I think Burdhrs is such a Chad now, and being able to, as you said, close the door on some areas, block off, screen off terrain, even on the off chance that they've double, triple marched up into your face and you've gone, oh crap, they're all about to be on my objective. You just go, cool, I'm going to pop up, screen off my objective, and then go and then still have the mobility in the army to double heroic march with your wild wog chieftains to actually get up the board. Is yeah, it's just a nice, well-rounded list that I would say its weakness is shooting, but if you have good boards and actual quality terrain, you can mitigate that.
Yep.
I think
And
what both of these armies are boiling down to is both armies have tools. Both armies don't have a single thing that blows them out of the water and makes them like, oh my God, this shit's, cracked. Therefore, you can pick it up and just flap your wings around and win games, right? You have to think in your games. You have to play your games well. And if you do that, chances are you can definitely crack top 10 with it comfortably, like 100%. Yeah.
so, Jay, what sort of points, what sort of lists are we making with these? Where does this all lead to? What gives us a chance at victory?
My personal thoughts for Carn Dûm are 700 is king. 6 to 700 is where I kind of sit with them. These are lists that I'm taking to a Queensland event. It's a de-escalation tournament. So we're starting at 1,000 points. We're then going down to 700 points. Then we're down to 450 points. So these are my two lists. It's starting at 1,000 points. I've got 54 models. I threw this in here just to kind of talk about something a bit different, right? Tyler, it's interesting you brought up Frecht and Aldrak in here. I have the points to spare, right? So I've gone for Frecht, and he's literally there to help support Aldrak for 4 turns.
I did finally decide to count and realize there are 5 hill
5 hill
trolls.
trolls. That's what
I did
was
not
like.
realize. It took me a full half second to count.
Oh,
That's all good.
That is a number.
They're Chads.
absolutely. And I stand by the Hill Troll chat. Yeah.
Yep.
They hold the army up. So to summarize this list, I've got a shit ton of orcs. I've got 9 bows. I've got a smattering. I think I've got like 6 wild, no, 2, 4, 6, 8 wild riders, all with shield throwing spears. I think they're great. The plan is to have them do objective things or anti-envelop with Cav. Then from there, my 5 hill trolls and Aldrak will literally like be the ants marching down, hurrah, and will smack the fuck out of your face. And I'm going to have so much fun. That's pretty much the gist of this. One thing to note, I have only gone for a single banner.
I did notice that.
I was.
Call me,
And I
call me
had a
crazy.
question.
Call me crazy.
You're crazy.
But
Yep.
But I don't know. I wanted, because I've gone for the 5 hill trolls and I've gone for 8 Warg Riders. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saving points by not taking a second banner. Therefore, I am death balling. You will never take that banner off me. But if my opponent has 2 banners, I have to work really hard to get that banner off of them. Like really, really hard. And I think I can do it.
Remember when you said that you had those extra points you just
I
made
swear,
Frank
did
for
he
some
just say?
reason?
Did he say that shit? It's like it fucking.
I'm glad Jay listened to that strategy part of the video because Wouldn't it be nice if his whole line was covered in 6-inch
Yeah,
banners?
what? Wait, okay.
Oh,
So my
sure.
thing is
You can't even fit all those hill trolls within the range of the
that's what I'm saying. It's
Hey,
like
they're on a 50 mil base. Shut up.
what is that? What's happening? Are you creating your death bubble? I didn't realize your whole army was fighting in a bubble.
Let me
What the
just
fuck?
check. I'll be
This is
honest.
the worst example. I should have read the list before we started
Okay,
this.
hold on. Hold on, Jason. For me, I would have dropped a hill troll, upgraded one of the captains to a Carn Dûm captain. Maybe get some cheeky Carn Dûm warriors. And probably another
Oh,
banner instead of some of these wall riders. But
this
I
is Jay's
like the
attempt at hot
idea.
takes.
But I love the idea that you believe in yourself. That's wonderful. It's
Yo,
a great
that's
thing.
Right.
legit. That's legit.
That's that. That's that. Oh yeah, baby. Hey, I guess in Queensland you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Um, but
Oh,
but for those out there, please, if it's 1,000 points tournament, please take two banners minimum.
maybe three.
I would, yeah. I said minimum. It should be three.
Oh, I'm so glad Tyler's here to help me bully Jay.
Jake's like,
Oh.
I get to party with my 5 hill trolls. Fucking yeah. I can't wait to watch them all fucking whiff. They're like, oh, is that a guy in range and banner? Oh, fuck.
He gets charged by 2 Minister at nights. You're out for it.
Hey,
They have more dice, Jay.
They have more dice.
They have more dice.
And
hey,
plus one to wound.
Dice is king.
the Battle of Fornost do not come into play when considering what's happening. If that happens,
Every other god on all is just
completely.
You know what? You know what I do? I do an 800 point variant battle of Fornos and just get 8 freaking rangers just to shoot out all these trolls.
okay. But that's 700 point list though.
That's actually
To
This,
be
kidding.
this
fair,
is one. This
That's
is one that
reasonable.
this is the one where we're hitting peak 39 models is fine considering 3 hill trolls.
No, but also 6 log riders. That's the thing. It's a nice.
6. Wow.
Yeah, there's a cav contingent in there, and I actually
Wow.
don't mind that.
Oh, me too. Don't you worry. Me too.
Yeah.
And like to be honest, you could drop 2 cav and go for more. You could even go for a second banner if you wanted to as well. But I love the 3 hill trolls, and I've tried it with 2, I've tried it with 3, and I'm going to be trying it with 5. Right, like I'm really testing the hill troll fluctuations, but the sweet spot for me is 3 hill trolls and Aldrak.
I do have to ask, why? I guess how much is the Carn Dûm captain?
55. 10 more.
Oh man, I almost want to drop a wall rider and bring in the Carn Dûm captain. I swear the fight 5 for that captain after he's killed a dude is actually freaking
Look, I will
Chad.
say,
Respect
like,
that.
I respect the orc over the Carn Dûm for sure in terms of the warriors.
Yep.
The captain, though, I can see it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And better courage as well.
Better courage, still gets the
Re-
+1 to win heroes.
and re-roll the courage, I think, or is it just the warriors that get it? I can't
I
remember.
think it's everything.
Yeah, that's why I love that cat. After seeing James Bennett play with that captain, I was like, oh, this guy's actually like semi-value. I don't mind trying to get the points though for just spamming as many models though.
You do get the reroll courage on the captains.
Yeah, that's huge.
All Carn Dûm. I think the thing for me, and this is something that I definitely got into like a bit of a rabbit hole with for Carn Dûm, is just points efficient. Like what's points efficient, and it's what my brain like consistently refers back to. So it's like if it's not points efficient, my brain kind of discounts it. But I would actually consider. I will, Tyler.
Yeah,
I'll
see
drop-
which one you like. See which
No,
one you
look,
like.
fuck it. I've got them painted, and it's probably saving me painting shit. I'll put the Carn Dûm.
Just one. Yeah, you saw the orc captain.
Put them
Fine.
both in.
If you want to. Fuck
At that point, why not?
hell yeah.
That's good work. Yeah. So for my like overall thoughts here, at 1,000 points, Carn Dûm are fun. Will they like smash face? Maybe, but I've got 5 hill trolls to really try hard. I don't think that will win a tournament at all. But 700 points, I like this list, and I think this list has legs. Magic cannot just shut me down for fun. And it will hit with a couple of like sneaky little, oh, your heroes will be threatened here when it pops up. And I'm going to be munching your troops quite comfortably. And if you have another monster that you're hoping like let's use Gundabad as the example, you're hoping that that troll brute will start munching through my lines. It's like, cool, man, I'll just throw Aldrak Mighty Blow and he'll die. I'll kill that in a turn. No worries.
Yep, you fucking hope so. Because
Dude,
otherwise,
that's what I was thinking. Friggin', he has to
Tell me I'm
tag
wrong.
that
Tell
hill
me I'm
troll.
wrong. I need
Yeah,
to
you
get
have-
2 fucking wounds through and kill that thing at D6.
No.
Right.
The most likely you kill it. If you stall for 1 turn though,
Yeah, if you fuck up, and what if those other guys in your army fail their courage checks to pin the freaking troll? What if he? No, what if? Yeah, no, Aldrak rerolls. The other one's freaking dumb. Freaking, what if that hill troll is that freaking troll brute is not pinned with enough strength, and all it goes is like, oh, I can still move, pivot.
but you have so many. I will say you have so many numbers.
I need Aldrak and one dude.
That's it.
Aldrak and one dude. Aldrak strength 5.
I think you're fine. I think you're genuinely fine.
Wow.
And you pour the might to remove that off the board. It's such a big base that you would have created such a massive hole in your opponent's army.
100%.
Or it's on the flank, you just have a hill troll
I'll
catch
put
it.
in my asshole.
I swear it's like we forgot they have an Azog.
On foot. I'll take that.
And a bulk.
Right.
When are we fitting them both at 700 points and
At 1,000. We're talking
about
about this at 1,000. That's what I'm.
700.
He was just talking about 1,000 just then. He's like, his 5 hill trolls and that. And I'm like, interesting. And he brought up Gundabad with his freaking trolls and troll brutes, and I'm like, hold on.
Hey, my friend Jay, he's just trying to get through. He's just have a kid.
Look,
He's just
the 5 hill trolls, fantastic. Can you please, for the love of God, just put a second banner? That's all I keep looking at, and I'm like,
Jay, I respect your 700 point list. I think it's actually really solid. I want to try
That's
it
good.
out.
That's actually good. I'll try that out too.
I'm going to leave it as 1 banner just to
spite.
Just to spite you motherfuckers. And if you believe, you can kill their second banner and even the odds. Not win the banner fight, but even the odds. Okay.
Please join the Discord to see how this outcome resolves.
Okay. This is the burdhrs Horde list I've been trying to give out. I think that this is off the top of my head. This is roughly what I've been playing. So the main thing is first 3 turns, Wild Chiefs, identical warbands, couple Wild Wogs, Wild Rider, 6 Orc Bows. Again, anything to try and get the opponent to walk towards you a bit. Can't complain. There is your captain, a lot of shields. If there is a chance of combat, you need to just not die. You're waiting for Big Daddy to show up. And when he does, he has a full stack warband. If I hear anyone tell me, but how are they going to fit? Within 1 inch.
Yeah.
Shove them in. Do whatever you... I've one of those like little T intersection Osgiliath ruins, but they're only like 3 inches wide. You just shove them. You shove them underneath. You shove them on either side. But you stand 1 inch away. You can get up to 1 inch away.
Bro,
just get them.
Sponsored by a sex toy company.
We're fucking good.
Shove them in. And push that. You can fit. They can fit. It can fit. It can fit. I promise you. No one believes it. Everyone's like, but he can't. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. I don't care.
Sex offenders list.
Hey, dude, holy crap.
You have Mountain Dweller and cave and Woodland Creature on everything. Go in the forest.
You can
Go wherever you want.
do this.
Okay, but look, crux of the list, double Wild Chieftain. The hurt they put out is massive. You're at 41 models at 600 points.
Right.
If there is the damage they can do by just going, even if it's just at some point eventually, is let's say you get low end, you get 2 hero combats out of them. Overall, as in between the 4 might points. That's fine.
Yeah.
They 3 attacks. They don't go down easy. 3 wounds, it makes them genuinely very tanky.
Yeah.
They just sit there and their entire job, not even to threatening heroes, sure, but like not really, is cutting down enemy model count to a point where you have enough warriors, you're on both sides of their army, they're getting trapped in. It's I'm trying to think of Game of Thrones against the Boltons when they're getting shoved in by the shield wall. Anyone? No? Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And Jon Snow's fucking that's me. That's me
Yep.
to my enemy's general as burdhrs just keeps walking and there's two wild chiefs on the other side of the line and their banner's like, please, sir, no. That's me. That's all you have to do with this army. You just suck the life out of them because they have no space. you, you, you shove the troll on the board and then you suck the life out of them. That's the way you gotta run this. That's
It's interesting that you have no hill trolls here. And then I just looked at the cost of a wild chieftain. For 5 points, you get so much more.
it's so good.
He's
Yeah, the like
true, my and to be honest, like the Wildlong chieftains can't be knocked over prone by cavalry is a huge thing. So even if they have a 3 attack freaking mounted hero, what's the probability that they're going to get all 3 wounds or even 4 wounds on that Wildlong chieftain?
Not
If they're pouring resources into killing one of these, they're not killing troops and they're not trying to put a hurt on Buhrdur.
Yep. For sure. And the upgrade again, like we said, the upgrade to Birdo, that going from last edition 5-6 strength 6, the sevens everywhere is fantastic. The skill difference and the skill gap for this army is you have to be exceptionally precise with where you ambush and how you set up for your opponent to go towards where you want to ambush. You need them to come. If there is a section with no viable terrain, the only terrain is a water feature, you don't want to fight there. You don't want to be anywhere near there. And if you're playing against Burdhrs Horde, you should probably go stand in the river.
Yeah.
And
sorry, keep going. Keep going.
just the main thing as well is actually using the brutal power attacks for Buhrdur. So if you can peel off whatever cav heroes there are within the list and abuse Hurl because his intelligence is actually
5+,
freaking Chad.
really good.
So he can consistently try and even if they've got an optimal turn where they charged and they have priority and they've gone first, at least you can get that hero off their horse.
Yep. And you want heroes off their horse because that activates your ability to have the reroll on Birdo.
Yep.
And again, as soon as you get that one kill, he becomes a banner for himself. Just it's genuinely, and again, I haven't. The only people you don't get the rerolls on is from him killing someone is the wargs. That's fine. That's all good. The other main skill gap is realizing wild chiefs aren't going to help you with heroic moves usually. That orc captain needs to be positioned as well as possible every turn. His job is to class very good heroic moves. If he's against fight 4 or fight 3 stuff, he probably goes in and fights. Otherwise, stand fast. And that's it. But if it's done well, you just push their army in and you collapse. Even if it's just one flank, you just utterly destroy before their heroes can get over and help. You just give yourself such an advantage. Use Buhrdur, use the wild chiefs. There's enough hitting power in the list. It's just weight of numbers. There's only 2 there's enough strength 4. There's off the top of my head, 2 wild riders, 7 wild wargs, all strength 4, 2 two-handers.
It's decent killing power, man.
Yep. I think it's pretty good. I will take this at some point. It will happen.
On a final note, if you would like to purchase some of these armies, head over to Bard's Table or Oz Wargaming, where you will not have to pay forward prices. And Bard's Table have done up a nice little army pack for the army of Carn Dûm. And honestly, they just love giving out free trolls. So purchase with code GOATS and start your Carn Dûm / burdhrs Horde today. Guys, that's going to be a wrap from us, from myself, from Alex, and from Tyler. Belated. Have a great night. Assuming people watch this shit at night.